Jeannie Mai NU relationship with Anderson Paak backfires. Jeannie Mai, the beloved television host and style icon, had recently been through one of the toughest periods of her life. After a very public breakup, fans were concerned about her happiness, wondering if she would ever open her heart again. But the universe seemed to have a new plan for her in the form of Anderson Paak, the multi-talented Grammy-winning musician whose charm, energy, and talent have captivated millions. From the moment they were first seen together at an exclusive Hollywood event, there was a spark that seemed undeniable. Social media exploded with excitement. Fans speculated about romance, celebrities congratulated them subtly, and everyone wanted to know if this new pairing could be the love story Hollywood had been waiting for. But little did anyone know, this relationship, which looked perfect on the surface, would soon face challenges that no one anticipated. To understand why this romance became such a point of fascination, it's important to look at who these two people are. Jeannie Mai is known for her style, grace, and magnetic personality. She has built her career not just on talent, but on authenticity, humor, and relatability. Fans admire her for being real, for her willingness to speak her mind, and for her dedication to her craft. Anderson Paak, meanwhile, is a powerhouse in the music industry. His Grammy wins, unique sound, and captivating performances make him one of the most respected musicians of his generation. But Anderson is also private, careful about his personal life, and protective of his space, traits that would later contribute to the tension in their relationship. When they first met, it was electric. Imagine a music industry party buzzing with cameras and celebrities where two successful people lock eyes and immediately feel a connection. Their conversations flowed naturally, filled with laughter, shared experiences, and mutual admiration. Fans caught glimpses of them together on social media, laughter during casual dinners, supportive comments on each other's posts, and even hints of a playful rivalry in interviews. Everything seemed perfect. But as with any relationship, the surface charm often masks the real work required to make two very different lives fit together. The first few weeks of dating were dreamy. Jeannie and Anderson spent time exploring their shared passions: music, fashion, and cultural events. They were photographed attending shows together, exchanging subtle touches and smiles that thrilled fans. Yet even during these seemingly perfect days, early warning signs began to appear. Jeannie, used to the spotlight, wanted moments of public acknowledgement. She wanted to share their joy openly, celebrating the relationship with fans and friends. Anderson, on the other hand, valued privacy and preferred keeping certain parts of his life away from social media. This difference, small as it might seem, created friction. Minor miscommunications, like a missed text or a cryptic social media post, became magnified under the gaze of fans and media. Friends who observed their interactions privately noticed subtle tensions: a slightly cold response, a delayed reply, a pause that seemed loaded with meaning. These early challenges were the first cracks in a relationship that to the outside world seemed perfect. Even after the public fallout, the story of Jeannie Mai and Anderson Paak didn't end. It shifted into a quieter, more personal struggle that few could see. Away from the cameras, the two navigated the emotional aftermath in ways that were deeply human. Jeannie wrestled with feelings of disappointment and vulnerability. She had opened her heart again after heartbreak, and the public backfire made her question not just the relationship, but herself. Was she too trusting? Had she misread Anderson's signals? Could she truly be happy under the relentless scrutiny of fame? These thoughts haunted her in quiet moments, during late-night walks, in front of mirrors, and in conversations with close friends who tried to reassure her, yet knew there was only so much they could do. Anderson, for his part, faced his own inner turmoil. He had always been fiercely protective of his personal life, and the sudden media frenzy made him feel exposed and misunderstood. His music, his art, and his career had always been his sanctuary, and now his private relationship was being analyzed, dissected, and criticized by strangers. Anderson struggled to reconcile his love for Jeannie with the pressure of fame and the constant commentary. He began reflecting on whether his tendency to keep things private had unintentionally hurt Jeannie. Every social media post, every media headline, and every whisper from industry insiders seemed like a reminder of what went wrong. Yet he couldn't stop caring. The public's role in the fallout cannot be understated. Fans, gossip blogs, and social media users debated endlessly over who was right or wrong. Some sided with Jeannie, sympathizing with her vulnerability and openness. Others defended Anderson, praising his need for privacy and the pressures that come with fame. This external commentary only added weight to an already delicate situation. Every time Jeannie smiled in public, or Anderson dropped a new song, people read into it, analyzing their body language and tone for hidden meanings. The pressure became suffocating, and both began to realize that navigating love in the public eye was a completely different challenge than any private romance. During this period, there were quiet, almost invisible moments of connection that hinted the bond wasn't fully broken. A text exchanged late at night, a shared memory mentioned in passing, a social media like that seemed insignificant but carried emotional weight. These small gestures revealed lingering care and mutual respect. They were complicated, layered, and deeply human. Two successful, ambitious people trying to love, but struggling under pressures most couples would never face. It was a reminder that even when relationships fail publicly, the emotions are real, raw, and complicated behind the scenes. This part of the story also touches on personal growth. Both Jeannie and Anderson had to confront uncomfortable truths about themselves. Jeannie about her expectations in relationships, and Anderson about his fears of vulnerability. They realized that love, especially in the spotlight, requires compromise, patience, and understanding. While the public may have focused on the drama, the real story was more intimate. Two people learning hard lessons about communication, trust, and the emotional cost of fame. Even as the relationship cooled, the emotional intensity didn't disappear. It transformed into a quiet, reflective tension. It became a story not of betrayal but of humanity, ambition, love, vulnerability, and the struggle to connect when the world is watching. And it's this depth, this complexity, that keeps audiences invested, wondering whether the next chapter will bring reconciliation, friendship, or a permanent divide. As the romance continued, the pressures of public attention began to take their toll. Social media posts were dissected, paparazzi snapshots were scrutinized, and rumors began circulating. Jeannie started feeling frustrated. Was Anderson not as invested as she was? Did he care more about protecting his privacy than sharing their happiness? Anderson, meanwhile, felt cornered. He loved Jeannie, but struggled with the constant attention, the assumptions, and the public commentary about how he should behave as her boyfriend. Small incidents became larger in their minds. A playful comment in an interview might be interpreted as criticism. A brief social media interaction could spiral into speculation and gossip. Friends offered advice, some well-meaning, some inadvertently fueling the tension. The excitement of the early romance began to mix with anxiety, frustration, and confusion. Emotions that, if not addressed, would eventually lead to the backfire that everyone would talk about. Step 5. The backfire moment. 5 o'clock, 6:30. The turning point came at a highly publicized event. Perhaps it was a red carpet, an awards show, or a music festival where fans and media were watching their every move. A minor misunderstanding, maybe a missed cue, a joke gone wrong, or a gesture that was misinterpreted, suddenly became the focal point of gossip. Tabloids and social media amplified the moment, painting it as a dramatic clash. Jeannie felt embarrassed and hurt. Anderson felt misunderstood and unfairly criticized. What should have been a joyful appearance together became the moment the relationship backfired. Fans debated endlessly. Was it a sign of deeper incompatibility, or just a temporary misstep magnified by fame? In truth, it was both, a combination of personal differences and the relentless pressure of public attention. This was the moment the fairy tale started to unravel, showing the world that even the most glamorous relationships are vulnerable to misunderstandings and outside pressures. After the incident, both Jeannie and Anderson retreated to process what had happened. Jeannie reflected on whether she had rushed into things, whether her expectations had been too high, and whether fame had distorted the relationship. Anderson pondered whether he had been too private, too guarded, or too slow to meet Jeannie's emotional needs. Despite the tension, there remained respect and admiration for each other. They acknowledged, at least privately, that they were both talented, ambitious, and simply navigating circumstances that were bigger than either of them. This part of the story highlights vulnerability, realism, and relatability. Audiences can connect to the feelings of miscommunication, frustration, and unspoken emotions. It was a reminder that love, even for people living in the spotlight, is complicated, and that personal feelings are often amplified when the world is watching. As the relationship continued to simmer under public scrutiny, both Jeannie Mai and Paak began feeling the weight of consequences far beyond their private disagreements. What had initially seemed like a promising romance had, in many ways, backfired, impacting their reputations, social circles, and even their professional lives. Fans dissected every interview, every appearance, and every social media post, trying to decode the meaning behind each subtle gesture. For Jeannie, every smile and public appearance was now a test. She worried about being judged as too sensitive or overly emotional, even though her feelings were real and human. Anderson, meanwhile, faced whispers about his commitment and whether he could balance fame, career, and love. It was a constant mental battle, a reminder that love in the spotlight is never simple. The public pressure forced both to reflect deeply on what had gone wrong. Jeannie realized that opening her heart publicly meant embracing vulnerability, but also navigating the judgments of millions. She learned that not everyone's opinions matter, but the world has a way of amplifying even minor missteps. Anderson, on the other hand, confronted the difficulty of balancing personal boundaries with emotional availability. His private instincts, long cherished, were clashing with the reality that relationships require transparency, especially when one partner thrives in the public eye. These realizations were painful but necessary, shaping the way both would approach love in the future. Even amidst the tension, there were moments of subtle human connection that the public barely noticed. A late-night message, a thoughtful response to a mutual friend, or a quiet acknowledgement at an event showed that the bond was not entirely gone. It revealed the complexity of emotions. Admiration, care, and even love lingered, tangled with pride, hurt, and fear of vulnerability. The story became more than just a failed romance. It became a lesson in resilience, understanding, and the harsh realities of dating in a world where everyone is watching. Rumors and speculation continued to swirl. Some believed a reconciliation was possible. Others assumed the relationship was permanently fractured. Jeannie and Anderson remained silent publicly, letting subtle gestures speak instead. A comment liked here, a song reference there. Small signs that hinted at unresolved emotions. Fans and media alike were captivated, unsure whether they were witnessing the quiet end of a romance or the slow, simmering build-up to a possible reunion. What makes this part of the story compelling is the emotional authenticity. Both Jeannie and Anderson are shown as human, making mistakes, learning from them, and navigating pressures few can understand. It's a reminder that celebrity relationships, while often sensationalized, are not immune to the same struggles ordinary couples face: communication challenges, mismatched expectations, and the challenge of reconciling personal desires with public perception. In this phase, the story also builds anticipation. The audience is left wondering, will Jeannie and Anderson ever publicly acknowledge their lingering feelings? Will time heal the rift? Or is this a romance destined to remain a what could have been story? The unanswered questions create a sense of suspense and engagement, keeping viewers invested in every update, every subtle social media hint, and every public appearance for clues. The story, now layered with emotion, public drama, and personal growth, has reached a point where the romance may have faltered, but the intrigue remains stronger than ever. It's no longer just about two celebrities dating. It's about vulnerability, human connection, and the delicate balance of pride, love, and public scrutiny. And it's exactly this tension, unresolved and simmering, that keeps audiences captivated, waiting for the next twist in a story that feels both intimate and spectacular. The story ends without full resolution, leaving viewers on the edge of their seats. Neither Jeannie nor Anderson publicly reconciled, but subtle signs suggest they are still thinking of each other. Cryptic social media posts, mutual attendance at industry events, or quiet acknowledgments in interviews. Fans are left speculating. Will they find their way back to each other? Or is this the end of a promising relationship? In the world of celebrity, love is never simple. Jeannie Mai's romance with Paak reminds audiences that even the most glamorous couples face the same emotional challenges as anyone else: misunderstandings, differing priorities, and the pressure of outside judgment. It's a story of ambition, vulnerability, and human emotion. And the lingering question of what happens next keeps everyone talking. The relationship may have backfired, but the story continues, full of suspense, curiosity, and the very real human emotions that make it so compelling.